This story begins in the far north, with a ship trapped in the ice. A crewman expresses the crew's concern to Captain Anderson. They are tired and hungry and ask for guarantees that they will return to St. Petersburg. The captain reminds them that they must complete their mission to reach the North Pole. After a distant explosion, they head to the site and find an injured man with a shoulder wound and a broken leg. Upon removing his boot, they discover it is a prosthetic. The captain orders him brought to the ship, but a crewman, Larson, shouts that thing is already coming. The crew readies themselves and, on the captain's command, opens fire on an enormous creature as it approaches. As they reload, the furious creature reaches the ship, asking for the man they saved. It demands to know what the captain is seeking, but he calls for his blunderbuss as the creature tries to climb aboard. The captain orders the ladder raised, and although he has one shot left, he knows it will not kill the creature, so he decides not to fire directly at it. Dr. Hudson treats the injured man with laudanum. The man awakens, and Captain Anderson informs him he is on the Royal Danish vessel Horizon. The injured man asks how many men the creature killed. The captain replies, 6. The man warns that the creature will return to kill them all until they hand him over. Although the captain insists the creature sank and died, the man insists it cannot die, as he himself has already tried to destroy it. He makes the captain promise that, if it returns, he will abandon him on the ice for it to take. Intrigued, the captain asks what demon created such a creature. The man confesses, "I did." Once recovered, the man decides to tell his story, assuring them that although some parts may seem incredible, it is all true. He reveals his name, Victor Frankenstein. The captain recognizes that the name means conqueror. Victor confirms it all began with his father, an illustrious surgeon who married his mother, Claire, for convenience, due to her noble lineage and considerable dowry. This allowed his father to preserve his rank and home. Although his father was present, he imposed his will sternly when he was home. The rest of the time, Victor felt his mother was his alone. He recalls his father forcing his pregnant mother to eat raw meat, supposedly to strengthen her blood. At night, Victor would hear his parents arguing about fortune and inheritances, voices that terrified him as he comforted his crying mother. Victor was convinced his father despised him for his dark hair, his eyes, and his quiet demeanor. His father constantly quizzed him on the human body. In one lesson, he asked him about the humors and the weight of the heart. When Victor suggested the difference in the female heart was due to deep emotions, his father corrected him sharply, attributing it to blood volume and denying any spiritual elements in the tissues. Upon failing to recall the tricuspid valve, his father scolded him, saying his patient would have died in that time. He forbade Victor from striking his own hands, calling them instruments of his art, and instead struck Victor across the face, reminding him that he carried his surname. One day as his father returned from a trip, his mother went into labor. Victor called his father, who went upstairs calling for hot water and sheets, but he ordered Victor to stay outside, separating him from his mother as she screamed. It was the last time he saw her alive. The loss left Victor with a profound grief, feeling a void in the universe. After his mother's death, the father focused his attention on William, Victor's young and cheerful brother, who became the favorite. While William received smiles, Victor only received contempt. But Victor was consumed by the idea that his mother had died at the hands of his own father, the most distinguished surgeon. This idea became inescapable, and one afternoon he confronted his father, accusing him of letting her die. His father denied it, stating that no one can conquer death. Victor replied that he would, and that he would learn more than his father ever had. That night, Victor felt a rebirth upon having a vision of the Dark Angel, who promised him he would command the forces of life and death, surpassing his father in ambition and scope. Ruin came quickly. Riots and a fire decimated the family fortune. They kept the house, but the rest was lost, and his father passed away. William left for Vienna with relatives, while Victor traveled to London and then to Edinburgh, seeking to expand the boundaries of academia. Years later, at the College of Medicine, Victor gives a lecture before a tribunal on life and death. He declares that death is the true challenge and asks why they do not perform miracles. He proposes challenging obedience and forcing nature to submit in order to prevent death. The tribunal asks what he proposes. Victor presents his composite subject, the body of a merchant with a functional brain and the arm of a carpenter with the nerves connected. He explains that he uses electrical current based on an Eastern notion called chi, a vital flow. The tribunal dismisses it as a sideshow act and galvanic tricks. Victor, indignant, explains that they achieved motor coordination between a corpse's eye and another's arm. A member mocks him, and they order him to disconnect that thing. Victor insists it is the future, but they accuse him of sacrilege, reminding him that only God gives and takes life. Enraged, Victor replies that perhaps God is inept, and it is their duty to mend his mistakes, urging the students to disobedience. Following his expulsion, Victor is approached by Harlander, who gives him a letter from his brother, William. Harlander announces that William will visit him soon to introduce his fiancée, Elizabeth, who is Harlander's niece. He praises Victor's presentation as brilliant, but compares him to a child who strangles his pet out of excitement. Calling him Prometheus, he offers to show him something that will change his destiny. Days later, Harlander shows Victor anatomical charts, highlighting a fifth chart of the lymphatic system, the secret circulatory system. He points out a crucial variation, the ninth configuration, a structure around the heart that can conserve energy. Victor deduces that by accessing it through the spinal column, one could achieve regeneration and eternal life. Harlander offers Victor unlimited resources for his research, asking in return only that he document the process and perhaps a future favor. At that moment, William and Elizabeth arrive. Victor greets his brother and is captivated by Elizabeth. During dinner, Victor arrogantly expounds his ideas on regenerating life, provoking a slight laugh from Elizabeth. Later, when they are alone, Victor asks her why she laughed. Elizabeth replies that ideas are not worthy on their own, using the example of war. While men die drowning in blood for ideas like honor, those who promote them remain safe. She tells him that this is what happens when the arrogant promote ideas, insinuating that he is one of them. Victor's narration is interrupted, returning to the ship. The terrified crewmen claim to have seen the creature in the fog and demand that the captain abandon Victor on the ice. The captain refuses, declaring that Victor is under his protection. Victor continues his story. Weeks later, Harlander shows him an abandoned water tower, a place Victor feels is his destiny. Harlander reiterates that whatever he desires will be granted. Victor, enthusiastic, requests William's services for the project, along with a containment cell, an ice chamber, steam engines, voltaic batteries, and a lightning rod system made of pure silver. The deal is sealed. Days later, while searching for specimens at a public hanging, Victor sees Elizabeth. Intrigued, he follows her to the church and overhears her confession from the adjoining confessional. She confesses to hating her fiancé's brother, describing Victor as a grotesque and manipulative tyrant. Victor opens the screen and greets her. Later, they dine together, and he is surprised to see she bought books on insects, not romance. Elizabeth explains her interest in small details and in the rhythms of God. As they dance, Victor admits that, for the first time, he feels more interested in life than in death. In the tower, Victor supervises William in the construction of the laboratory, insisting that the conductors be pure silver. The work is intense. During a party, Harlander confesses to Victor that his patience and funds are running out. He gives him 1 week, coinciding with a final battle that will provide fresh bodies, to determine how to transmit the current. Victor feels pressured. Elizabeth visits him at the lab, and he confesses that he feels a special, almost physical bond forming between them. She, after observing him, coldly tells him that choice is the seat of the soul, and that she has already chosen. Rejected and defeated, Victor has a sudden inspiration. Symmetry. He runs to the lab and finds the key, placing the battery above the lymphatic system. Shortly after, Victor and Harlander select bodies on the battlefield. Victor asks for tall, well-preserved specimens. Back in the tower, as a storm rages, Harlander, trembling, confesses he is dying of syphilis. He describes his grotesque and inevitable end and reveals his one condition. Once Victor creates the new Adam, he wants his being to be placed in that perfect body. Victor refuses. Desperate, Harlander offers him everything, even Elizabeth. Victor refuses again, arguing it is impossible, as the disease is systemic and has infected his brain. Furious, Harlander grabs part of the machinery, threatening to destroy everything. In the struggle, Harlander falls to his death. Victor goes down and coldly confirms the body is shattered. Unfazed, Victor proceeds with the experiment, but it seems nothing works. Disappointed, he retreats. Later, he awakens to hear someone calling Victor and sees the creature standing before him. Fearfully, he approaches and shows it the sunlight. The creature mimics his gesture. Victor teaches him that the sun is life and repeats his own name. Then he takes the creature to the depths of the tower and chains it. He teaches it the word water and shows it fire, warning that it is hot. The narration breaks, returning to the ship. Victor confesses to Captain Anderson that he never considered what would come next, and that his achievement felt unnatural and empty. The captain replies that, with or without purpose, he wants to hear the story. Victor continues. Weeks passed, the creature's strength grew rapidly while his own declined. Exhausted and unable to sleep, he grew frustrated that the creature showed no further intellectual development, repeating only Victor. In a fit of rage, he struck the creature. At that moment, William and Elizabeth arrived at the tower. Victor, in a euphoric state, grabbed Elizabeth, evading their questions about Harlander. William handed him a letter from the Royal Medical Society, but Victor dismissed it. Meanwhile, Elizabeth found the chained creature and was horrified to see its wounds. Victor tried to explain it was a patient, boasting of its strength and justifying the chains for safety. When William asked about its soul, Victor admitted he had not thought about it. That night, Elizabeth visited the creature alone, trying to get it to repeat her name. She left just before the creature whispered it. Victor intercepted her, jealous, accusing her of being attracted to the creature. Elizabeth, angered, retorted that suffering is not evidence of intelligence, and that of all anatomy, the heart was the organ he understood the least, concluding that only monsters played at being God. Furious, Victor went to the creature and beat it brutally for not obeying him. The next day, devastated, Victor lied to William, showing him Harlander's corpse and blaming the creature. He asked him to take Elizabeth back to Vienna. Once alone, he doused the tower in fuel. He told the creature that if it said one more word, he would save it. The creature then said Elizabeth. Consumed by jealousy, Victor set the place on fire. As everything burned and the creature screamed his name, Victor felt regret and tried to go back, but an explosion threw him, shattering his leg. The story abruptly returns to the ship. Captain Anderson hears a noise and comes face to face with the creature, which grabs him by the throat. Victor yells for it to let him go, that it can take him instead. The captain bravely asks the creature to kill him to confirm the story. Surprised, the creature releases him and says that if his creator told his story, now he will tell his. The creature recounts how during the fire, Victor did not help him. He managed to break free and escape into the water. He wandered the forest, took clothes from a corpse, and upon approaching some deer, was shot at by hunters. Wounded, he fled and hid in the pen of a farm. From there, he spied on the family, moved by a blind old man teaching a little girl to read. Longing to be part of their world, he began to help them secretly at night, chopping firewood. The family believed it was the work of the forest spirit, and for a brief moment, the creature felt peace. One day he watched a hunter kill wolves and understood that violence was inevitable and that the world would hunt him just for what he was. When the family left, the old man stayed behind alone, and the creature dared to enter. The old man, unable to see him, was kind, offered him shelter, and called him Forest Spirit. Thus the old man taught him to read. His first book was Paradise Lost, where he read of Adam, the fall of a tower, and the wrath of a god. The old man helped him confront his past. The creature only remembered fragments: fire, water, and the word Victor. The old man advised him to follow that word. The creature returned to the ruins of the tower and found Victor's journal, discovering the horrible truth. He was a wretch assembled from corpses. He saw the full name for the first time, Victor Frankenstein. He returned to the farm to say goodbye, but found that wolves had attacked and the old man was dying. The creature confessed what he was, but the old man, with his last breath, told him he was still his friend. In that instant, the family returned and, upon seeing him, shot him in the eye repeatedly until they believed him dead. But the creature did not die. His wounds healed, feeling more alone than ever and envying humans for the gift of death. He decided to demand a favor from his creator, a companion. Back with Victor, William wakes him. The explosion was ruled an accident, and his wedding to Elizabeth will begin soon. Victor, recovered but with a prosthetic, visits Elizabeth and demands no more deceit. Upon returning to his room, the creature is waiting for him. Victor sarcastically asks if it came to thank him, but the creature demands he fashion it a companion so it won't be alone. Victor flatly refuses, horrified at the thought of creating a race of demons. The creature, enraged, throws him against the wall. Elizabeth runs in and, upon seeing the creature, approaches it with compassion. Victor, jealous, grabs a gun and fires, but Elizabeth steps in the way and takes the shot. William enters and tries to help her, but the creature shoves him. William, dying, tells Victor that he is the real monster. The creature takes Elizabeth in its arms as she dies and escapes with her body. Victor pursues it beyond the forests and mountains to the frozen horizons. In the Arctic, Victor, weakened, takes refuge in a tent. The creature finds him. Victor tries to use dynamite, but the explosion only injures the creature, which regenerates. The narration concludes by returning to the ship, where Victor is dying. The creature tells him that the wave that pushed him there now takes him away, leaving the creature alone. Victor, with his last breath, asks for forgiveness and calls him my son. He tells him that if death will not come for him, he has no choice but to live. He asks him to repeat his name one last time, like in the beginning. The creature forgives him and calls him father, telling him they can rest. After Victor's death, Captain Anderson orders his men to lower their weapons and let the creature go. In a gesture of gratitude, the creature pushes the ship, freeing it from the ice. The captain orders his crew to turn around and return home.